Hi, this is Penny. Welcome to my studio. This is the last video and it's number 4 in making the owl. And I hope you've enjoyed the other 3 and that you'll enjoy this one as well. So let's get into it. Right at the end of the video you'll see a lot of close-up shots of the finished owl, so do check those out. You'll need 2 wing shapes and they'll be placed as shown in the image at an angle to the body and quite close to the neck. Ignore the mesh on the chest of the owl, that was changed. Here I've laid 2 layers of fabric over the wing. One is a deep violet satin and the other is an open work strange fabric from a top. It's sort of lace and then bits of ribbon on the lace, but when you look at the front you can actually see the violet satin through it. And then I have cut a small piece of red velvet to line the tip of the wing, because the tip of the wing is the part that may show. The rest of the wing doesn't need lining. When it comes to putting the wing onto the bird, I put a bit of stuffing underneath it just to give it a little bit of solidity and roundness. You don't have to put too much in, but it does need a little bit. Here you can see the left-hand wing pinned into position and at an angle. The tail needs to, the end of the wing needs to cross over at the tail area, whereas the top of the wing needs to be easily visible from the front of the bird. And then you hand stitch this into position. This wing pattern is rough only. It does, if you use the right measurements, it will vaguely fit the 31 centimetre owl, but you do need to cut it and alter it to suit yourself, making it longer or wider or narrower or more curved, whichever you like. It's just a basic wing shape. And here you can see how I made my slightly crooked tail. It's about 5 centimetres long, I suppose, and about 3 or 4 centimetres wide at the bottom. It tapers as it gets closer to the body, and then I put a double layer of wadding in and just literally hand stitched it, or the fabric around the wadding. So if you cut the wadding to the size you want and then cover it, you can't go far wrong. Your tail obviously depends on the size of your bird, and it will show when you look from the front. It will show between the feet, but you might like to add something fancy to it, or you might just like it to be plain. Alternatively, you can just cut a selection of fabrics and stack them to look like a feathery, interesting tail, and add that. You might prefer that. And this shows you how the tail fits, and then the 2 wings overlap over the join, so you don't actually see the messy join of the tail to the body. And you can also clearly see the ribbons on the wing fabric here. Obviously you can use any fabric you like on the wings. Just to add a bit more texture and interest, I've taken some little flowers that are embroidered on a fine netting. It's a strip, a band of netting with flowers all over it, and I cut out the violet ones and put them on. You can stitch them quite easily. You can actually see the netting right up close to the flower, but in reality it doesn't show that much, and it's pretty easy to stitch that on. A lot easier than hand embroidering, but you can also hand embroider if you're that way inclined. You can also see how far up the belly they come. They're just really not terribly obvious. They just decorate the base of the belly a bit. I've added an offcut of, it's actually petals from a flower, but I had 2 pieces the same shape, scrap leftovers, and I put matching ones on each wing just to decorate it a little bit. It's actually the same flowers that I used for the stiff earpieces, and then you can see I put some little red flowers on there, but I'll talk about that later. Sometimes you just get lucky and have the right little experimental reject bit that fits. In this case, I'd used a synthetic taffeta type, satin type taffeta, and the same stuff that I used for the eyes, the deep cerise fuchsia colour. And I cut a big circle and made a yo-yo out of it. And on the folded side of the yo-yo, which is the one with where it's closed off, I thought it looked rather nice, and I melted it to see what happened to the edges. And I quite like the look. It looks a bit strange in this image, but in reality it's actually quite nice. And then I put some little circular melted bits in the middle, and I just had this odd flower. And I thought it's perfect for the back. In fact, putting this one on the back was actually what made me put the tiny ones on the wings, just to pick it up. And again, I've used some of that violet and pink flower, as I used on the wings, on the back as well, and put a couple of little bits of leaf made from the textured denim, which I bought brand new, and I've never been able to find any more. A close-up of the flower, and you can quite clearly see the melted parts here. It's not really terribly controllable, but it just gives an interesting shape, if you don't mind irregularity. The little flowers are really, really simple. They're just tiny rough circles cut and melted, and they have one bead stuck in the middle. Grouped together, they're just there for colour effect, really. But it works. And here's the other wing. Now we come to the feet. And I have taken a piece of the sturdy wire, a short length. Well, the length that goes from the tip of the back toe to the tip of the front toe. And I've wound that on with fine tie wire. It's just to hold the feet really steady and stable. I don't always do that, but it pays to make it stable, so I thought I'd show you how to do that, or how I do that, really. You may find videos on the internet making feet that are far superior to my method, but this is how I do it. To do the feet, you can use anything really, from string to yarn to, bits of torn scraps. But for the sake of this video, I've made it pretty simple. And I've just literally torn, probably 1 centimetre strips, maybe just over a little bit, 1.5 centimetre strips from the length of, it might even be the selvage edge. No, anyway, from the length of black poly cotton, and it's all one length, so I tore them as long as I could, and then I glue them and wrap them around the toes. I knew I didn't want black feet, but I thought I'd just paint them up a bit afterwards. Once you've glued it and dried it, it's easy to slap a bit of paint on to colour them any colour you want, or of course you can recover them with a thin coloured fabric. We're looking at pretty heavy feet for this bird, not delicate ones. For the delicate feet, I do them slightly differently. I start by gluing the end, doubling it over and gluing it on the end of the toe with a glob of woodworking glue. I use the white woodworking glue for this, good quality ones, because the good quality stuff pays off when you're doing something like this. And I use a brand called Aquadeer, which is a well-known woodworking glue. It dries clear, obviously, so you don't see the white. And then I wrap around and tightly and go right up to where the toes join. I wrap it around the join in the toes, and I go straight down with one single twist down to the end of the toe, glue it again, and then wrap all the way back to the intersections of the toes. And I repeat that on all 4 toes. And then I take it up the leg. And if the toes work out too thin after that, you can just redo it again, just take another strip down. You can see here how you get the torn fibres a bit, show a bit. But I'm going to, when that's done and everything is covered, which it isn't in this picture, I've still got wires showing, But once everything is covered, I then use the PVA glue over the whole thing with a paintbrush, and that anchors all the threads down, smooths everything out. Then I get thin wadding, and I cut, and you can see here they're pretty rough, but it doesn't matter. I got the scraps here, and I cut them into tapering pieces, probably about 10 centimetres long, 12 centimetres long. And I wrap those around, as you can see on the, let's have a look here. You can see on one of the legs that I've wrapped stuffing around it, wadding around it. And it's like I make it into like a cone that's wider and thicker at the top. So I use a thick part at the top, and then I take the thinner part down. I want it to taper down to the feet. And I just keep winding that on until I get the nice chubby little legs. You might have to do 2 lots. You might have to add little bits, but just shape them into the shape of the leg that you like. You'll notice I've used 2 different types of wadding. It really doesn't matter. Any fabric that's thick you can use for this. Or alternatively, you can use just ordinary loose wadding. But I find it easier to use the wraparound type. So, and I stitch that into shape very roughly, and also attach it invisibly to the bottom of the bird so that it doesn't slip down the leg. And I almost forgot to say, cover the legs once you've finished. Use a piece of fabric that's sort of wedge shape, wider at the top, but one end than the other, that roughly fits around the leg. I did it with the crush velvet, but you can use anything. And then I put on a little bit of cut-out lace to echo the belly fabrics. They can be as simple or as complex as you like, and you can use any fabric. When you're sewing them on, make sure that you stitch them neatly and invisibly around where they attach to the body. Make it really secure because you don't want them slipping down. And down the other end near the leg, pull them in really tight so they taper nicely. Now I've got the thickness of the toes that I want, and it looks like I've used at least 2 rows of wrapping. And now I'm painting Aquadeer onto the outer cover, and that, like I say, makes all the threads lie down and become more or less invisible. And now I've put some cool green paint, acrylic paint, over the top. I was undecided, I'm still undecided about the colour feet that I want, but I'll probably wait until I get a timber base to mount it on and then just see what looks good. Before you go, pose your bird. Tilt the head slightly, twist it slightly to one side, and then also put one foot in front of the other so that the bird is looking intelligent and active and interested in something. So we've come to the end of the 4th video and the end of the making the owl instructions. And I'm now going to leave you with your lovely mess and your growing owl. And I hope you've enjoyed the series, and stay tuned for other subjects which will be coming up soon. So until next time, thanks for watching, and have fun.